look at us. We've obtained a skill. Hell, I should put this on my resume. Wait, I probably should put this on my resume. Have done a podcast with a listenership for years. Wait, why is it not on my resume? Fuck.
Yeah, it's on my resume, and I'm in IT. Like, it's not an applicable skill at all, but...
I 100% did not. Well, I'm applying to, like, do contact tracing for COVID right now, which is literally just talking to people on the phone and, like, dealing with people with having, like, distress. And it's like, yeah, I'm good at talking.
So you're playing 6 Degrees of Separation for the Backstreet Boys reunion tour?
Yes, I am. When I told Bernard I was applying for that, he's like, the best part of that is you're gonna get to talk to Kevin Bacon. I'm sure, like, on the second day.
Right.
Oh God, Kevin Bacon is in so much danger right now, you guys.
He knows everybody.
He's got so many contacts. Oh my word. Or no, we better hope Kevin Bacon doesn't get coronavirus.
Because then everyone's... Well, no, because everyone is 6 degrees of separation apart, and COVID is contagious for approximately 3 people per. So half of the world is going to die from coronavirus if Kevin Bacon gets it. The other 3 out of 6 are good.
We've got to protect Kevin Bacon.
Welcome to RPG Book Club, the podcast where we play a little bit of a video game and talk about how it makes us feel. I am Sam Allman.
I went outside today. I'm Elias Sailor Eli Warren.
I didn't, and I'm Maddie Grace Webbin.
And today we will be continuing our streak of being no good sellouts to talk about the 6th part of Chrono Trigger, which is just about the quest that gets us to Death Peak, if you're familiar with what happens there. And if not, hop on board. In about an hour, you'll know what happens there. But before we get to any of that, how was your guys' week?
Mine was... I did things. I definitely... Oh, that's what I accomplished. I watched 3 whole seasons of She-Ra because I was way behind.
Hell yeah.
Oh my god. The ending was so good. It was so good that it made up for the disappointment of Steven Universe Future's ending.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people losing their bonkers the last, 2 days.
Oh my fuck. It was just... every part of it was incredible, and, there were a lot of really gut-clenching moments, and, the last episode made me cry, and not that it's hard to get me to cry. I mean... tell me my hair looks bad and I'll be bawling on the ground. But it was super emotional roller coaster, and it was like Sailor Moon levels of emotional for me, and just so many.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was wonderful. It was so wonderful, and I wish this wasn't the end of it.
Unlike Steven Universe, where I didn't care, I just want to real quick say, don't spoil this one, because I plan to watch this.
No, I'm not gonna say anything about it. There's so many good relationships between the various characters, and just seeing how much growth everybody makes throughout the series is really good, and it's just really great.
The whole thing.
I'm not entirely sure off the top of my head. Season 2 is shorter than the others because it ends on a cliffhanger. I know seasons 4 and 5 both have 13.
I think it's 10, 8, then the rest have 13. Something like that.
All right, that's not too bad.
Nah.
That's reasonable.
They go by fast.
Yeah, they go by super fast. They're super phenomenal. Scarlet got bored in episode 2, and so I'm on episode 2 of the whole show because
oh no,
who should I watch a show about princesses with except for my daughter, and she doesn't even like it.
You gotta wait until Storm gets older and he can appreciate it, or they they can appreciate it.
Exactly.
The child.
Yes, the child, aka Baby Yoda.
The small creature that you concocted. Yes. But yeah, it was a really amazing like power friendship story, and just everything is interwoven together brilliantly. And while the names are doofy as fuck, it's just because they're all taken from a terrible 80s cartoon that was made to sell toys.
Which, like, I love that. It reminds me of, like Metal Gear's kind of like that, right? Like, Metal Gear was a fucking 80s game with characters with stupid names like Solid Snake and Big Boss.
And Revolver Ocelot, Revolver Ocelot, Revolver Ocelot.
That wasn't even... Well, that was quite a bit later. That's not quite as stupid, if you ask me. It's still stupid. But then you fast forward, like, 30
Revolver
years...
Ocelot isn't Running Man.
Yeah, so then you fast forward 30 years, and you've got, like, a very, very serious, like, extremely serious, sophisticated work of art that's, like, a mature commentary on, like, American, like foreign policy and like Western capitalist imperialism in the 80s, and yet you still have characters that are named fucking Big Boss and Solid Snake. And I love that. It's like, y'all, you named it that, you're stuck with it.
Yeah, I will say there's one episode in particular, and I don't think this is spoilery. I won't say when it happens, but it's like an entire episode of in-jokes about the original She-Ra series, and it's fucking gold. It's so fucking hilarious. Like, every moment of it is great. And like, I think it's in season 2 maybe, but it's really, really fucking good. The whole, like, I don't think there's a single episode that I dislike.
I'm just realizing, is She-Ra... Was there a, like, reboot of He-Man as well? Or did they just, like, no, we're just doing She-Ra?
Nope, they were just doing She-Ra. There is, and I don't think that this is spoilery either, there is not a single mention of He-Man or anything to do with He-Man throughout the series. Like,
So they took the Venom route with it.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah, they completely cut it off from the original source material in that regard. And I think that was a really good move, because it makes it more about She-Ra. It makes it more of, because like in the 80s cartoon, like, she had been awakened to her powers because of her brother. And in this case, there's no man involved in the awakening of her powers.
Yeah. It's really good. That said, I am freakishly excited for Kevin Smith and Mark Bernardin's He-Man reboot that's coming. Because
that sure is a sentence that I just heard.
Yeah, so Kevin Smith got them in the door. I'm mostly excited for Mark Bernardin, because Mark Bernardin is his co-host on Fat Man on Batman, and Mark Bernardin thinks about genre TV and genre movies and stuff the way that me and you do, Maddie, where like Kevin will go up there, is like, holy shit, did you see that explosion? And he goes, yeah, but that explosion was important because it's about his dad. And it's just like, oh. And so he's a writer on Castle Rock on Hulu, which got enough. I've heard is really good, but I haven't watched it. But that plus, really good. And Kevin Smith's just like nerd clout was enough to get the He-Man reboot going, and it sounds like it'll be great.
That's pretty neat.
He-Man is going to be played by Chris Wood, who plays Mon-El on Supergirl, and there's a whole lot of celebrity cameos. So it
better be as homoerotic as the original show was.
I bet it's going to be worse. It's Kevin Smith as the executive producer.
Yeah, I might watch that. I might check it out.
Yeah.
She-Ra, definitely check it out. Also, I forgot to do this again, but I want to do another plug for my friend Biz and her Margrave book series. It's really good. I did a little bit of fan art for her.
Nice.
She deserves way better fan art than mine. So please go check her out. Her Patreon is patreon.com/BIZSALVONI, Biz Salvoni. Please. She's a wonderful writer, and she deserves way more love than she's getting.
Yeah, for sure. I went and checked out the little free half chapter or whatever, and it's pretty good.
Yes. Yeah, it's all high fantasy kind of stuff in a more modern setting, and it's great.
Yeah, I love that shit. What about
that's all I got.
What about you, Maddie? How was your week?
I'm doing great, honestly. Not a lot, like, quote unquote, happened. I mean, because it's fucking Corona times, but yeah, I've been doing a lot. I think I said last week I've been doing a lot of scheduling and budgeting and job applicationing and secret projecting and also cleaning the bejesus out of my room. So I'm no longer living in filth, and some cooking. I know that's all just like normal life stuff, but you know, when you got some brain problems, it can be hard to accomplish these normal life things. And I've been doing a really good job. Oh, I even worked out yesterday. I kind of overdid it. I did a home workout for like core stuff. I am gonna die, but it was good. I can probably do it 3 times a week, but it was pretty intense. Like it may have been too intense, or may have been just right. I'm not sure. I'll try it again, and if I try it again and I die even more, then I'll know that I need to tone it down a little bit.
For sure.
But yeah, I don't know. Nothing exciting in my life. Just like shit's good. That's it.
Nice. Storm is eating real food, and by real food I mean baby food, which is pulverized real food. But that's real exciting.
Wasn't before. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yay! Congrats, baby.
Yeah. Good job. Good job, baby. Good job being a baby.
Yeah. Good job being a functioning human. But other than that, I've had a pretty great week because I got to tally the votes on our Best of the Rest year 2.
Yes.
And we are going to be playing Danganronpa 1.
Oh, hell fucking yes.
Hell yeah.
That's on PC now, right?
Yes, there are PC. Okay. There's PC, PS4, Vita. There's fan translations for the PSP, but there's a whole culture war on which one people think is better, and it is hands down the official Vita version.
Yeah,
I'm sorry to every fan, but you're not as good as a paid professional.
They're not. No, fan translations, I'm sorry, are, with very few exceptions, not as good as professional translations. Unless the professional translation is, like, wrong for some capital W reason. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like wrong, like they censored some important relationship, like they made a queer character not queer. Like, that doesn't count. Right? Aside from, like, meddling, like yeah, anyway, I can't comment. I have not played that version, so I can't necessarily say if it's better. But for anyone listening, I will say the first and only version I played of the game is the original Vita version. And I know, you know what I mean. The original version released in the West on Vita. And it is fantastic. I have no complaints about it. So, like, I would just say go just fucking get that one. Like,
yeah. And the Vita version is playable on a PS TV if you have it. If you don't want to play handheld and you want to cuddle up with somebody, PS TVs are way cheaper than Vitas are these days.
Well, the PS4 version is identical, right? It's the same thing.
True, but I forgot that one was out, even though I just said it. But yeah, PS4.
Yeah, back when I played it, it was like only on Vita, and it was like a hot commodity because like it was a cult classic for years before it finally got popular enough for them to put it on other stuff. Like, me and Bernard bought our PS4 or our Vita pretty much just to play Persona 4 Golden, and then we played Danganronpa, and we're like, holy shit, this game's amazing. It's a shame we can't recommend it to anybody because no one has Vita.
But yeah, it's great. It'll be a real short series. There are 5 cases, we'll call them, similar to Phoenix Wright, and one of them has a twist. So we'll be doing 6 episodes, and
yeah, and like they do get longer, but not so much longer that we're gonna cut them in half or anything like that. Like Phoenix Wright, we're still gonna do one per case, even though they get long.
Yeah. And unlike Phoenix Wright, it's not like there's like a back and forth cadence. There's really not a place to stop in the middle of each case.
Exactly. You kind of have to start that would like be dumb, and we wouldn't really be able to do it even if we wanted to.
Yeah. But yeah, that will be starting in 3 weeks. We have tonight's episode, one more episode of side quests, one more episode where we finish the game, and then a movie night bonus episode along in there somewhere, and then we'll do Danganronpa.
Hell yeah, thanks. Hey, remind me, what games did it beat? What games are we never going to play again? Unless we contrive some stupid way to end up getting to play them anyway, because we can do what we want to our podcast.
Yeah. I mean, the rule we set in way back in the day is once it loses Best of the Rest, we can bring it back if we want to. We haven't done that yet, but I could see us doing that for, say, The Last Remnant, who did not make it this time. That definitely seems up our alley.
Star Tropics. What's the other one?
And Shadows of Adam.
That's right.
Shadows of Adam, I feel will make a comeback because every single voter voted it third place. Every other vote was all over the place, but everybody liked Shadows of Adam third best, which if there's anything we are the third best RPG book
This is
podcast.
why I say we should have used the modified Borda system for counting the votes, Sam. I told you. Then Shadows of Adam would have won. It measures broad support instead of intensity of support. What do we even do? STV? I'm making jokes that maybe one person is going to understand.
That one person is going to love you, Maddie.
I don't know the specifics of super nerdy shit like vote counting, but I'm pretty certain Danganronpa would have still even won because it was first place, second place were the votes.
Gotcha. Yeah,
it was a landslide victory for Danganronpa.
Good job, Danganronpa, and good job to the losers and the haters.
Yeah, they did a good showing. There's a high chance we will never play them again, but also we might play all of them again because that's what we do here. But yeah, so let's listen to what's some good music this week. Did we get? Oh, we got Kick-Ass Airship tune. Let's listen to a Kick-Ass Airship tune this week.
Yeah,
and then we'll get started talking about this game. So when we last left our heroes, we were short a guy, and yeah, we had to bench him on account of death.
Yeah, on account of just being fucking vaporized.
Our main character Chrono he had to temporarily take a leave of absence because he was really excited about the Backstreet Boys reunion tour.
I was gonna say, Thanos snapped his fingers and Chrono was the only one who disappeared.
Oh yeah, Thanos. Yeah, turns out he didn't actually want to get rid of half the people. He just really doesn't like Chrono.
Yeah,
he's like, you know
Chrono
what?
alone
Fuck
is
that
the
guy.
reason. Yeah.
and then he goes back to his paradise and he sits back and he has a smile on his face because he killed that one guy he didn't like.
It's perfect.
Yeah, he saved the universe by destroying this mute dumbass.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we left our heroes sad and in a hut out on this island is all that's left of 12,000 BC, and yeah, just.
Technically, it should be 11,000 BC because it's supposed to be 12,000 years.
No,
prior.
It's 12,000 years ago, and they specifically say 13,000 years when you talk to Melchior and stuff.
Oh yeah, 13.
Oh, they do.
Nice.
Their math count works out.
Okay, cool. I didn't pay enough attention.
Or at least Slattery's math checks out. I don't know if Teddy Westside's
paying attention to care about the math. I did not even notice.
My math, on the other hand, was bad because I said 11,000. Whoops.
It's okay. Yeah, so 13,000 ago is all splody, and all of our people are sad. And I don't remember what happens before we get on the Blackbird.
I'll tell you. Okay, I can tell you this shit because it turns out I took a lot of screenshots. So basically, you're just able to control your dudes yourself. You just like wake up and you get to explore. There's like 2 different huts. There's a person who sells some items. There might be a couple interesting lines of dialogue. You go to the quote unquote town that exists, and it's basically just an open snowfield where everyone's just hanging. It's actually called Commons, I believe. And one thing that's neat is that it's people from it's Earthbound ones from before, and it's also former Xelians who I guess didn't die. And I mentioned this because ding ding ding, doesn't that remind us of Xenogears? We're at a frozen tundra wasteland little habitation that's the only place where any humans live on the whole world, and the former oppressors who lived in the sky and the people they oppressed who live down below are all now living together because all they have is each other against the terrible world. Anyway, it's kind of cool. You literally just talk to the elder and you just explore on your own. And as soon as you talk to the elder, he's like, oh, hey, you woke up. Sorry to hear about your bud. And then Dalton shows up. Did Dalton cut out?
Yeah,
I'm
I said he literally just talked to the elder, and he says, sorry about your bud, and then Dalton shows up.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, Dalton shows up, and he's like, haha, it is I, Dalton, and he has some cops, and I actually forget exactly the reason, but he's pretty much just like, I rule the world now, and you're coming. Oh, he specifically is he's stealing the epic, because he wants it. He's like, this thing's cool as shit. I'm going to steal it, make some modifications. Also, I don't remember what his justification is, but he also, kidnaps Chrono and the heroes. Probably because, like,
not Chrono.
Not Chrono. He kidnaps your heroes probably because he doesn't like y'all because y'all tried to get him earlier. And he's like, fuck you.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. I think I cut out again. I said that's it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So we wind up on the Blackbird. Who is y'all's? Well, I guess I get to switch up the party now.
So
I
went with a girl party.
Girl party slaps.
Yeah, I went Luca, Marl, and Ayla because Ayla is fucking powerful. And
Ayla's seriously amazing.
It also really, really helped once we got thrown onto that ship because everybody lost their gear. And guess who was the only one who doesn't need a weapon to attack and was therefore the only one who could do anything? Fucking Ayla. And of course her gear was the first I found, so I was like, oh, good, okay, great. Very helpful. I still can't do anything with Luca or Marl.
Yeah, it's a great team, especially since Luca and Marl have Antipode and Antipode 2, which fucking whips. Anyway, yeah, it's a good. What was your party, Sam?
Mine was my classic second half party of Frog and Luca and Marl, I believe.
Yep, that is the OG.
That's my classic. Yeah. So we all get kidnapped. Oh, Maddie, you didn't say yours. Who
I had the same as Eli.
Yeah, it's a real good party.
Yeah.
I if I would have thought about it, I would have done it. But
for me, it was partially like because girls rock. Secondly, Ayla owns, and also the other two I haven't used in like 5 hours of gameplay. So I'm just like, yeah, I should get them some. Some skill points because I'm sure y'all noticed. You get what's the term that you always use? Not dugout.
Bullpen experience.
Bullpen. You use it. Yeah, they get bullpen XP in this game, but you don't get bullpen tech points.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
or SP or ability points. So they were definitely way behind. So that's actually the reason why I went with Girl Party. I was just like, I should probably get the rest of my party to learn some things for fucking once.
Yeah. So you wake up on the Blackbird, and there's a handy dandy door to your cell, and you're like, they didn't even check. There's a door, and you climb through it, and you're on the outside of a flying airship, and you're like, oh, that's why this door is like a bajillion foot drop. So then you're trying to find some place to go, and you find a air vent, and so you go to crawl, or in my case, since I had frog, hop really high through the air vents. And I love Frog's run animation, man. It's so good. Like, why is everyone so good and Chrono's is so bad?
Which is really an improvement for the game now that Chrono's gone. We don't have to see his stupid run animation anymore. and we're about to get someone with an even cooler one.
Oh, yes. I love it.
Yeah. So I hated this part, I think is fair to say. It was not fun.
Really? I thought it whipped.
The maze part. Yeah, I did not like the maze. The reason I didn't like it is probably because I'm dumb. Because it took me forever to find the appropriate spot to go down on, and I kept getting caught and put back in my cage, and I didn't have Ayla, so I couldn't just fight my way through it.
You can get caught?
Yeah. If you don't have any of your stuff, you can't fight back. So they put you back in your cage.
Oh, yeah. I found my stuff real fast. I found one person's stuff real fast, and then it wasn't hard. I think this dungeon's cool. It's really open-ended. It's got a really weird, interesting layout. Luckily, all the intermediate. I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. Maybe it's good for you, but bad for me. The battles are all so easy that it's essentially optional to engage with the game with the dungeon central gimmick. So if you don't like the central gimmick, I guess that's good. Although for me, I did like it. I thought it was cool, but it was like, oh, I don't actually have to be playing along with this. I could just fucking kill the bad guys.
Yeah, So that's a side effect of having Ayla. You can't do a damn thing without Frog's equipment. And so the Frog's equipment is the first one you find, but finding it is really hard if every time you you walk anywhere close to a thing, instead of going into a fight, they're like, and put you back in your cage. Hold on.
But when you're coming out of your cage, you're doing just fine.
Yes.
Did y'all see the optional scene in this dungeon?
Yes, I did.
I have no idea.
Where you spy down from above on Dalton?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Nice. Maddie, what happens in that?
Oh, it's just a quick little scene, but while you're exploring this ship, you can look down through a grate at any point you want, which is one way that you figure out what to do, because you look down and see if there's a chest and if there's no enemies or whatever before you go down there. But if you go down one spot that the game kind of intentionally leads you toward, you see Dalton modifying your time machine. He decided that the design of the time machine really looks like it needs two giant wings on the side of it, so he puts two giant wings on the side of it. And he's like, hell yeah, this is going to be my throne from which I rule the world. And I'm like, dude, the world is like 25 people at this point. Like, fucking go for it, I guess. But like, also, who fucking cares? He's like, the rest of he's basically the designated survivor of Zeal, because everyone else in the chain of command died, or we'll see, or has gone somewhere. So he's just like, yeah, I'm cool. He's got this little ninja what do you call them, underlings. That's it. He probably says some dumb lines about how he's cool. Oh, but I didn't screenshot them. There's also some really cool graphics. That's it.
Yeah. So you eventually make your way, kill a lot of robots, kill a lot of not robots, murder a lot of well-meaning Zeal people, and you make your way to the wing of the plane. And you then have a boss fight with super ultra mega golem. I forget what it's actually called, but it's he
is legend.
And if y'all remember, last week the golem boss was fucking hard.
Oh yeah.
So even though we obviously know we are capable of beating him, I'm just like, oh fuck, I don't want to fight the goddamn golem. This is gonna kick my ass. I hate this shit.
Yeah, I kind of had the same reaction.
And this one's like red, and the other ones were yellow. So we're like, oh no, this one's going to be like a beefed up version. And even though like I know the gimmick, what if the gimmick's different? Because this one is technically different. What am I going to do? So he cowers in fears because he is afraid of heights. You just whoop on him till he dies.
So I actually stopped mid-fight when I started seeing those, and I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about? Like, what is going on with this mob? Like, this is so weird. He's just talking about how scared he is of heights, and he's not doing anything. Am I doing something wrong? And I looked it up, and it's like, no, he's just afraid of cats.
It's a joke fight.
He's
a joke
afraid
fight.
of things,
It's
and I'm just
so
like,
good. It's fucking great.
So I had to do the whole fight over again because I restarted it and was like, this can't possibly be real. No, it's real. I'm dumb. But thankfully it was easy enough. And apparently he can escape if you're not fast enough, but I was fast enough, so whatever.
Oh, I didn't even realize that you could kill him. For me, yeah, it was he said, I'm scared, and then like just a couple turns. It's only a couple turns long. There's a couple...
I hasted everyone with Marl and just like beat the shit out of it.
Well, see, I was being defensive because last time we fought Golem, he annihilated us, and this one's a different Golem with potentially different stats. So I was being super defensive, right? So I was kind of waiting to see what would happen. And by the time I realized what was happening, and I mean, also I kind of remembered from before, but only kind of. I wasn't totally sure. Anyway, after there's like only maybe 3 or 4 or 5 turns worth of like scripted lines, and then he's just like, peace.
Yeah. He had a countdown.
Wait, that's right. I just remembered, Eli. I might have to go look this up on a FAQ later, but either from beating him or from stealing from him, there's a super important item that you can only get here. So I didn't fucking get it.
I didn't get it at all.
Probably from charming him, which I keep neglecting to do. Whoops.
So you didn't get anything from beating him?
Not that I recall.
Yeah, for some reason, I just remember that. I just remember that now. This is like an important thing you're supposed to remember to do. Well, I didn't.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Who cares?
It's probably just for like actual side quests and not like ending side quests, because I have no idea what it is, and I've gotten.
Oh no, not
before,
like a side quest item, just like an equipment item.
Yeah. But anywho, so you then, how do you get down from there? Does he come to gloat in the epic? As soon as
you beat him, Dalton shows up.
Mm-hmm. So Dalton shows up and he's like, "Ha! I stole your shit. I'm the master of time and space. I'm the master of the skies. I can do whatever I want." And you say, "Grr," and jump onto him, and then he
actually shoots lasers at you, and he's like, "I'm going to shoot lasers at you with my gun," and you're like, "Oh, that's bad. That's a lot of terror." And then y'all are like, "Nope, we're just going to jump onto your fucking ship, and then while you're flying inside of it, just beat the tar out of you."
And we really do just smack the shit out of this guy.
Yeah, like you're standing on the left wing, the right wing, and then like the nose of it, and he's in the cockpit, and you're just wailing on him while like the background scrolls by. It rules.
And like he's technically stronger here, and technically like probably poses a bigger threat, but he doesn't have new strategy, even though he has like new moves. It's like, oh, he's still going to iron ball or gravity, whatever. Yeah. It's gravity from Final Fantasy. He's going to gravity you until you're about to die, and then hit you with a area of effect attack. But doesn't matter. It doesn't really change the fact that we just beat the crap out of him right away.
I definitely consider this a joke fight.
Yeah. He's like technically harder, but still not anywhere near like something you should be afraid of. But so after you beat him, he's like, well, let me call my golem in here to help me, and both of us will fight. So he opens the portal, and the golem just doesn't come through. The golem's like, nope.
and then Dalton gets sucked into the portal, and then it's gone.
Yep, gone forever.
And you're like, thanks for giving us this sick ass airship, dude. Holy, you're cool. Good job.
Mm-hmm. But before you can,
our airship.
True.
Well, yeah, but it wasn't an airship when we got it.
That's true. That's true.
It's our time machine.
But before... But Frog and or Ayla, in your guys' case, was not the pilot. Chrono was. So Frog gets in there and it's like, what do I do? Do I press this button? And so then he lasers the shit out of the Blackbird. He's like, no. It's the other button. And so you press a different button and you laser off an entire wing of the Blackbird and it crashes to the ground.
Yeah, so you
It was moral for me.
You accidentally killed presumably a whole lot of people, but like you didn't do it. You didn't mean to.
It was a comedic scene of a frogman smashing on the buttons. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it works just as well when Ayla does it. Like, I guess it would work for any party configuration, obviously, because it has to happen. It's programmed in. But I feel like it's best if it's Frog or Ayla, because Frog is
exactly.
Ayla is like stupid because she's a cave woman and doesn't know how she's a fucking bimbo. Frog's not actually a himbo, but like he is still like kind of a goofy character just by virtue of being a frog.
Based on how it worked, I think that it just goes with whoever's your first party member, because mine was Marl, and it made perfect sense that she would be going, I don't fucking know how this works. If it was Luca, I would have been like, Luca.
Come on, Luca.
You know what you're doing.
Maybe it was Marl for me and I just forgot. I had Marl lead because I just thought thematically it makes sense that she takes the lead after Chrono's gone. Because she's the one who's got the gung-ho gumption.
That's
she's
the reason why I picked
guys,
Frog.
We gotta save the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She was my lead as well, just again for thematic reasons.
Yeah, that's the reason I pick Frog for the second half as well. He feels like he would be the one for me to take over and be like, no, we're on a quest now, and I'm the hero. I see the quest till the end.
Mm-hmm.
But
anyway, we have an airship now.
Yeah, now we have an airship, but then also, for me, my in-game bonus dungeon opens. But in addition to that, the Ocean Palace rises to the sky and becomes the Black Omen instead of
scene.
And it rises to the sky in every time zone, not just the time, not just back in the day. It's like Lavos is now using his time powers that he accidentally invented, and it's really cool.
So like, which is interesting because the whole game we've been going through time to try and prevent something that is already going to happen, and we haven't really been changing anything, right? Like we've just been interfering with stuff that kind of already happens anyway. Like Azula still calls Lavos down even though we try to stop her, right? But we've just objectively made things worse.
Oh yeah.
Like there was like now the Black Omen exists and is a feature of the world throughout all of history, whereas previously it was not.
Yeah. And true to a Yuji Horii involved game, a lot of the NPCs, if you go back and investigate, now talk about the Black Omen like it's a thing that's always been there.
Oh, I was going to mention that in a moment, but since you're talking about it. Yeah. They go, the Black Omen looks beautiful today. Look at the way it sparkles in the sunlight. Because to them, it's just this big thing that's always been there, which is so cool.
Yeah, it's real cool. Love that shit.
Eli, did you try going to the Black Omen?
Nope.
Well, just so you know, it is not a PNR. So if you were to want to go to it just to check it out, you would be able to leave, FYI.
Okay.
Yeah, so at this point, the main quest of the game is over. We have done it. We have beaten the game. All that's left is the final boss. We're squeezing out 3 more episodes worth of side content because we're going to get the good ending, because that's what we're about. But right now, you could fly the Epic into the Black Omen, beat the game right here. It's very doable. You could be done. But instead, we land the Epic and talk to all of our people at the Earthbound Ones camp, and they say that there's some broody looking Vegeta motherfucker up at the North Cape. And you're like, okay, well, we're looking for a Vegeta looking motherfucker, so let's go and hunt him down and see what trash he's up to. So you go up to the North Cape, and sure enough, there's Magus, and he's like
brooding.
brooding and
as a
dejected.
Vegeta-looking motherfucker is want to do.
He's so fucking dramatic. He's literally standing at the highest point of this dramatic cape with his cape blowing. He's got a cape and he's on a cape. 2 times cape combo, Bob. And his cape is blowing in the cold wind as he gazes out over the destroyed Earth, and he's like, I have failed. I wasn't strong enough.
Yeah. And he's like super like sad about everything. And so you talk to him and he's like, yeah, I wasn't strong enough. I didn't do anything. And I realized I was going about everything the wrong way. And like, it looks like we made things worse. And I was just trying to stop a thing from happening. Do you hate me? Do you want to kill me? And you can pick yes or no. And I already know everybody's answers, but you can have a final boss fight with Magus right here, and you can kill him, and you can go about the rest of your game without
even
Magus.
Though it seems so cool to do.
I have never ever done it because nobody's that heartless. This is like doing a complete genocide run on your first run through of Undertale. Like, nobody does that. You have to talk yourself into a genocide run. Like,
well, also, Sam, I think that we haven't totally explained what Magus's deal is, because like we've intuited it. It's pretty obvious at this point, but this is the point where the game actually explains it, and I don't think we've totally explained it to our listeners who maybe just aren't playing the game along with us, so it's not obvious yet. So Magus was that kid Janice, which, again, we pointed out how obvious it was. Magus was the kid. So when Magus was a kid, all this crazy shit happened. Oh, Sam, you were totally right from earlier. Remember how, Sam, I was saying that Queen Zeal banished the gurus and had nothing to do with the prophet?
Mm-hmm.
I was totally wrong about that. You were right. In the original version of the story, all 3 prophets existed the whole time, and Queen Zeal did all the Lavos shit and made the Ocean Palace, and then Lavos showed up, and Lavos everything that we saw happen pretty much happened similarly. And when that happened, Janice and the 3 gurus were sent to different various points in time. It's not it was on this time, the second go around, the gurus ended up being banished because the prophets like Magus is like, the gurus suck ass. You should banish them. The moment that we done fucked up was stopping Magus from failing to summon Lavos in 600. The correct timeline is he was supposed to fail to summon Magus, probably die, or summon Lavos, probably die, and then in 1999 Lavos comes up. But because we interfered, he got sent back in time and tried to change it earlier, and Lavos was vulnerable enough then that it changed the timeline completely. Yeah. So from Magus's point of view, here's what happens. He's the kid, he's Janice, he sees all this bad shit happen, he immediately gets thrown through a time portal into 600 AD as a kid. Ozzy finds him and takes him in and is basically a foster father to him. And then I guess Magus grows up to be the leader of this gang.
The Fiend Lord.
Yeah, he grows up to be the Fiend Lord of this gang of villains. And the entire time his goal is, I'm going to get revenge on Lavos. And he would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for you meddling kids. And then after the fight with him, where you fight him and stop him from doing that, we got thrown into the prehistoric times and went through this whole adventure. He got thrown directly back into 12,000 BC, which was fortunate. He was like, "Oh fuck, I fucked up, but look, I've been thrown back into the very moment of the thing. I'm going to don a disguise, be a prophet, and try to get my second chance." Which didn't work. And he
used his knowledge from being a kid of like, oh, I'm a prophet and I know that the gurus are bad, and you can tell the gurus are bad because Melchior is about to come through the door and talk about blah, 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 and here's my proof that I know. And Melchior, because he was on the old timeline, would come through the door and do something bad. And the queen was like, oh shit, this is a real prophet because he has knowledge of the future. Let's banish the fuck out of these gurus.
You know what I just realized? Cool. He's kind of doing what the hero of Dragon Quest V does.
Yes.
I wonder if he gave Janice a little motivational speech. He probably didn't because he's too emo.
Yeah. But and so that's why he like he like Shala would say something that like the prophet was like about to kill us, and Shala would be like, don't. And this evil dude that we know has been like terrorizing this whole country stops and listens to this teenage girl because of course he's Janus and he misses his big sister. And
well, also, I actually liked last week. I didn't bring this up because it would have been too much foreshadowing, but I really loved how Magus had a couple of chances where he could have just offed you, but didn't. And it could be what you said. I think what you said is probably true. But also, I think he just knows that you're not bad people. He knows that you have the same goal that he does, so he's like not actually going to kill you.
Mm-hmm. It's so good. But yeah, so he tells us all of this and then asks for us to kill him, and we say no. And if Frog is your party leader, it's really great because he like puts down his sword and he's like, killing you won't bring Cyrus back. All the bad things you've done are in the past, and the only thing we can do is go forward and save the future. And like offers out his hand to Magus, and it's great. It's good shit. I highly recommend having Frog in your party for this scene.
Marl said something similar about it wouldn't bring Chrono back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's why no one can fucking actually fight this guy, because after he explains himself, you're like, yeah, this isn't even like a villain that you're showing mercy on. It's more just like, yeah, everything you just said is completely reasonable.
Yeah,
like that makes sense. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because it's not like he was a Vegeta who was coming to destroy the world and then turned and is a good guy now. He's like, no, I was just trying to summon Lavos. The army was in a fight, but I was just a distraction so I could be in my keep trying to summon Lavos. Like as much quote unquote atrocities as Magus has done, his hands are kind of clean of all of them because he was just going after Lavos. It's not even like, oh, he was doing it he was doing a good thing in a bad way. He just was kind of trying to do a good thing the whole time. So I can't imagine a single person killing Magus on purpose right here.
Yeah. Obviously, I do have one
fucking rocks. So
I do have one little. This is gonna be a real moment, but I'll share it now because it's what you're saying. It's kind of like Snape, where it's like, no, he's not bad. He's just a jerk, right? He is a jerk though. Whenever you first confront him in this scene, you're like, Marl's all like, it's your fault. Chrono's dead or whatever, and Magus, like, first of all, does the anime thing where he, like, pulls at his, like, gloves. He, like, pulls his gloves down dramatically, and he goes, he's history. Play with fire, and you get burned. He's just like, yeah, your friend died. Whatever. Like, it's what you get. which is pretty badass.
Yes.
Yeah. So, all of us welcome him with open arms into our party, and we're like, let's go and kill Lavos. And so, I feel there's something that calls you towards the end of time.
Yes. You find out that it was what. Because Magus tells you his whole
Magus
story.
Is the one that tells us who the... Yeah.
Yeah, Magus tells you his story about the gurus, and that's when you realize, oh my gosh, we know two gurus. We knew Melchior, who was the sword guy. We knew... Balthazar, who was the epic guy. Yeah, and then that's when you realize, I think it's Marl, well, it's probably whoever's in your party who realizes, oh my gosh, that old man at the end of time was the third guru all along, which is really, really cool. So then you're like, he knows shit. And in fact, I think someone even says he's the guru of time. So he can maybe maybe we can save Chrono. So you go to the end of time.
Yeah. And we learn his name is Gaspar, and Maddie, as the resident religious history buff, do you know who Melchior, Balthazar, and Gaspard are?
I know Balthazar is a minor character from the Old Testament. I don't know the other two, actually.
Those are the purported names of the three wise men, I believe.
Oh, that's really funny. Balthazar is also depending on how you translate it, an Old Testament character. But who knows? Maybe the wise man had the same name. Interesting. Okay, that makes sense. Cool, very cool.
I'm fact checking myself.
Also, we get the same three characters in Xenogears.
Yes,
and they're also from the floating continent of Shavat, not of Solaris. Yeah.
But yeah, so just the Magi who brought gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh is where their names come from.
That's tight.
Double checked it.
Good old Masato Kato and his Bible references.
Oh yeah. But so Eli, flashing back to a previous memory, this is why me and Maddie were freaking out when we found Old Man Bath at the bottom of the fucking cave in Xenogears, and we're like, oh shit, it's a dude who makes a big ass robot space sci-fi thing, and his Balthazar is from Chrono Trigger. Oh my god.
Which is kind of a little bit of a meta foreshadowing, because you only know that Balthazar is going to be an important character if you've played Chrono Trigger and know that a different game by Square had a character with the same name who was a mysterious guru who became important later. Yes,
it's so good. But anywho, so we go to see what Gaspard is up to, and he's like, oh yeah, I guess I was the guru of time. Time doesn't exist here, so it's been literally an eternity for me. I really don't actually remember anything. But cool. Glad you figured out my past for me.
Oh, he says Gaspar. Now that's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
But yeah, so we go to him, and he's like, yeah, Gaspard's me. I know some shit. And we're like, well, how do we save Chrono? And he's like, you can't just fucking change the time stream. Like, the web of time is intricately knitted. You can't just fuck it up. But if you could, it would probably have to happen on Death Peak. So good luck there.
And
but
he gives you a very important item.
Yes, he does give you the Chrono Trigger, which is a egg. And he's like, you would need the Chrono Trigger, and it would have to be take place at Death Peak. But it would have to be someone who's crucially important to the web of time, and you would have to find a way to not create a time loop by having a full exact body double for him, and it would be really hard to do, and you would have to basically just beg time to let you do it. And you're like, okay, well, Chrono is on the box, so he's important enough. We're gonna go save Chrono. And
you're Chrono, you're like, hey, you know that thing you just gave us, the magical time egg called the Chrono Trigger? You know the guy's name was Chrono, right?
Right.
Yeah, but it wasn't spelled the same.
Yeah, it was spelled slightly different, which is funny. Or Bernie in my case.
It's only
save Bernie.
It's only spelled different because there was a 5-character limit in the English one.
Figured, yeah.
His official I said Chinese. Wow, that was accidentally racist.
You're doing official Sam.
His official Japanese name does have a H in it, so his name is on the box.
Yeah,
so he's
which
probably
is like, who names their kid Chrono?
Of all names.
Did she know the game was called Chrono Trigger?
Yes.
Parents are just getting more and more creative with names as they go.
That'd be like if Goku's name was Dragon Ball Z.
Or if like Naruto's name was Naruto.
Yes.
Anywho, so this right here is the last time the game holds your hand, period. Like, this is like, there was a breadcrumb to come here when they were like, let's go ask Old Man how to save Chrono. But from right here, you just have to find everything. And it's really obtuse. And we told Eli where to go because it's really obtuse. And he probably could have run around forever. We even told Eli where to go, and he still couldn't find it because it's obtuse as shit.
I actually was surprised. It was less obtuse than I remembered. I know we kept saying that, but he actually does specifically say not to go to Death, but he actually does say go talk to Balthazar. And then Balthazar, who you have to talk to, specifically tells you to talk to Norman Beckler, who loves fairs. But you probably forgot who that is.
Yes, correct. So talking to Balthazar, fine. I had no problem going back to the lab to meet with the weird new creature that had Balthazar's memories in it. Like, that was super easy. And then I was like, okay, I just have to go to the fair. I went through every fucking attraction. I even kicked the shit out of that robot again. because I was like, I don't know what the fuck to do. And I didn't go in the tent specifically because it was like, oh, it's just that dumb game where I have to spend silver points to get a dumb doll that I already have. Did not occur to me that the dumb doll would be of Chrono this time.
Yeah. So me and Maddie tried to inception this into you back in episode 1, where we did this whole long joke about how there's a tent that sells life sex robots of Chrono, and we tried so hard to make this stick in your mind, and it still didn't work. Because it is an obtuse as shit quest.
It is, yeah. And again, like, the guy does say, like, my name's Norstein Beckler, but, like, if that was 28 hours of gameplay or, like, 4 weeks of real-world COVID times...
I'm also ADHD as fuck, so shit like that, like, a lot of times... Like, I'll love the joke in the moment, but then later on I'm like, I don't remember that. It didn't happen.
Thankfully, they don't make you do the dumb minigame again. Not
they
in the
made
same
me
way.
do the minigame.
Yeah, but if you lose, you just pay money.
Yeah, but I didn't have near enough money. I had to win to be able to afford it, and I had a decent chunk of change on me.
Oh, really? Okay, well, I must have done well enough that... Well, I mean, it wasn't the same as the other minigame.
You also have the wallet. You have a shitload more money than I do.
But remember, the other minigame, though, was the literal, like, putting things underneath putting the thing under the cups and shuffling the cups around, and that shit's impossible.
I didn't do it at the first.
Oh, yeah. See, if you do it earlier in the game, it's a different mini game, and it sucks shit and is really hard. So what they make you actually do this time is, like, pretty chill in comparison.
Yeah. What was not fun for it is it's pretty chill, but you do have to have auditory and visual focus, which is something that comes at a premium when I have 2 kids. And so it was freakishly hard for me. I kept, like, pressing the wrong button, or like it would, like, because you raise right arm, left arm, laugh, or act surprised, and you mimic it, like Simon says. And for some reason, every time we go to a laugh, I would forget that was the thing I was supposed to do, and I thought he was just like laughing before the next thing would go, and I would just watch the entire animation and fail and have to go fight Gato 3 more times and come back. It was so frustrating. So I finally did it, and then I'm just like, okay, well, let's just see what side quests I run into. And I go into the Temple of the Sun side quest, which I'm not prepared for. And there's no like fanfare or them saying like, oh wow, this is the Temple of the Sun and there's like bad shit that happens in here. You just see a sparkle on the map, you land your ship, you walk up to the sparkle, and boom, it's a boss fight. And he wiped the fucking floor with me. And I had not saved since before the mini games. I had to go and do it again and somehow make it work with fucking 2 kids hanging off of me. So this was the hardest part of the whole game so far.
Oops. How much did he charge you?
I don't know, but because he wouldn't give it to me, I had to. Oh,
you couldn't finish. Wait, I was just because for me,
so I had to win, and if you win, you get it for free.
Gotcha. I must have failed the minigame on like the last step because for me it was like 1,000 gold. Eli, how'd this one go for you?
I got through it with flying colors. I didn't have to pay a goddamn thing.
Oh, nice. Yeah, good job.
Because kids, you don't have the kids. The kids made it really hard. When I put them both to bed and I tried it again, I got it like it was nothing. It's not a hard game. It's just real hard with kids.
Yeah. I'm glad he charges you money and not silver points because that would have been the worst.
Gato was really easy, but even just killing him the 3 times to try the thingy again got real boring real fast.
Forever.
Because you technically could have already got the doll from before, but it's like 1,500 silver points or something like ridiculous, and there's no way anybody would grind Gato like 100 times at level 1 to go and do it. But you technically could have, because this game is really tightly made on a lot of the but what if sort of things like that. But so what you get for winning this minigame is a life-size sex replica of Chrono, and instead of just handing
your characters are all teens, so it's okay.
But instead of just handing it to you, he's like, I'll ship it to Chrono's house. I'm like, no. That's the worst place.
Don't do that. Yeah. Don't give it to his mom.
So you have to go.
The mom's like, hey, how's Chrono?
Yeah. So you get there and she's just like, how's Chrono? And for me, Frog was like,
good.
He's good.
Yeah.
Looking good.
Yeah.
I really liked having Luca in the lead for this scene because she knows Chrono's mom because they're friends. I really thought it was nice having Luca being like, "Oh, Chrono's great. He's just chilling back at the we can't say time machine. End of time? No. Place."
Yeah. But I mean,
he's just hanging
he's
out,
been at the he's been at the fair for all what Chrono's mom knows.
Doing
like,
Chrono
he's just
stuff.
at the fair.
Yeah.
But
doing his Chrono thing.
The thing that floors me is as you leave, she's like, "All right, you take care of Chrono for me." I'm like, we couldn't.
Yeah. And then she says something like, "Tell him to like be a good boy or something, do the right thing," and you're just like, "Get."
He did.
I'm gonna take this sex doll with me. Bye.
Yeah. You're like, "Hey, can we have this?" And she's like, "Yeah, sure."
Yeah. Why would I want that? It's kind of creepy that you've somehow sent me a full, realistic, life-size replica of my son.
I feel like it would have been even better if, like, it was so lifelike that she was just like, "Oh, Chrono, you're home," and then she's like, "Man, Chrono's been even quieter than usual today," and then he kind of just like weakened at Bernie's him like out the door, like, "All right, come on, Chrono, let's go."
So you take the Chrono doll and make your way to Death Peak, which has a dungeon that as a dungeon is not very bad. As a well-programmed gameplay gimmick is fucking horrible. I don't remember. I think it's Balthazar actually.
So this shit was gated earlier until we talked to Balthazar.
Yeah, and so when you talk to Balthazar, he sends these little Furby dolls out to the mountain to be helpful for you. And one of the things that they do is they turn into trees for you to hide behind while the wind is blowing. And by hide behind, I mean you line up pixel perfectly right behind the thing and also be pressing up but not running up so that you don't actually hit the tree and kind of do this weird stutter step instead of just being able to just hide behind the goddamn tree because the wind will blow you off the mountain if you're not there. And I had even more frustrations than Eli did this morning, and Eli was cussing in the host-only channel about it.
So, yeah, it's
fucking trees are down behind the fucking tree.
It's dumb. It's especially rough because you only actually have to do two things. You have to do two challenges. There's two trees. After you clear the second one, you just run up and you're done. But they also put a fucking little sparkle in the corner. And of course you want to get the treasure. So that's going to result in you having, even if you manage to figure it out, it's just like, oh, you got to try and get the sparkle at the same time because, of course, you can't let a sparkle go out or go ungot. And then it blows you. It's like, you got to start over, bitch.
And the thing that stinks so bad is this game, the whole time you've been able to run around while there's text boxes on the screen, which means the first thing you do is you run up to one of the Furbies and you talk to it and it turns into a tree. But if you're talking to it and the wind blows, the world is not paused while the text box is up, and so you fly off the bottom of the screen with the text box up before it turns into a tree. And it's,
oh shit! I didn't even realize that could happen. That's wild.
Yeah, it's annoying, but you get through it eventually, and the rest of the dungeon isn't bad. You fight a couple Lavos spawns, which are tiny little Lavoses that wreck everything if you touch their shell, but they die in like 3 hits if you hit them in the mouth. But learning that is a little hard because, of course, you're using Magus right now, and Magus, all of Magus's techs are all attacks, and you accidentally party wipe like 3 fucking times.
You know they did that shit on purpose. They're like, hey, you want to use this cool party member? Fuck you.
Fuck you. Don't do that
Luckily,
shit.
his physical attacks also do crazy damage, so it's still okay to have him in your party like I did, because I just got him. I'm not going to make him sit on the bench when I just got him. That'd be rude.
Yeah. Especially because he's starting at 0 with all of the dual techs and everything. So you gotta
he doesn't
get
learn
him
the
that
dual
sweet TP.
techs.
I could have sworn in my first playthrough
That's why I made a joke
some.
about him not being a good team player in the chat. He's so characterful. Magus is an emo loner character, so he doesn't learn any dual techs.
So apparently there is a dual tech that you can use with him.
Oh.
Or at least I looked it up. It requires... Let me talk!
Sorry.
No, you're good. It requires an item called a black stone or a black gemstone or something like that in the DS version, which I have. Supposedly, what you do is you have Luca, Marl, and Magus all in a party. You equip the black stone on one of them, and then they get a dual tech that they all use together. I have gotten nothing from it yet. I'm guessing I just need more tech points, but I've been keeping it on Marl just in the event that something amazing happens. So far, nothing.
So Magus needs to learn dark matter was when it'll unlock.
Okay.
Magus learns dark matter. Luca learns fire 2. Marl learns ice 2. He also has ultimate laser if you get the blue gemstone, which is with Luca and Robo. But those are his dual techs. Because I was like, I remember him having dual techs and triple techs back when I played it on the SNES. I know they're there, but they're special in-game cool stuffs.
How did you get that item? You said you got it?
The black gemstone is actually really cool. Do you remember where you got it, Eli?
Yes. So when you're in Zeal, maybe it's not in Zeal. Maybe it's in the...
It's in Zeal.
Okay, yeah. There's a couple of places where... it's the two little villages in Zeal. And there's these books that are sitting around, and you can click on the books and it'll open and it'll do like a little swirl of fire or like water coming out. If you open them in a certain order, a secret door will open.
Oh my god.
I believe the order is wind, water, fire for both of them.
Wind, water, fire.
And in the first town, the secret door opens and a new will fight you. And there's like 6 of them, and it kicked my ass. So I was like, all right, I give up on that. The second one though has the black stone in it.
Well, that explains why I never got it in my playthroughs in the past. That is wild. Huh.
I found out about that because, like, I was just, like, dicking around like I do in RPGs, and I was like, these books open. I wonder if they mean anything, because they just seemed cool. And so I looked it up.
Just for fun.
Yeah, I looked it up, and, I mean, like, found a spoiler-free guide and everything. And it was like, open them in this order, and then you'll get a cool little secret door. So I did that.
The in-game hint for that is Doreen, the third of Masa Immune. If you chase Doreen around the dream place, the last one she says is, she's like, wind makes water dance and water makes fire spit, or something like that. She gives you a riddle that tells you the order.
You know what's funny? I got that line of dialogue, and I actually thought to myself, oh, they're reminding me how the elemental weaknesses work in this game.
Not quite.
That's legitimately. I was just like, oh yeah, like duh, you use fire magic on this type of enemy, but even though that's like not even a thing in this game for the most part.
Yeah.
So I didn't think twice about it. That's hilarious. Hey, so are the other ones missable?
The
red
blue one?
stone.
Oh, I just realized that would be missable, wouldn't it?
Yep.
Because we just blew that place the fuck up.
I'm still never going to have a Magus triple tech unless I can get the blue one.
Yeah. Yeah, I have no idea where the blue one is, but
motherfucker, I'm learning something new about this game. That's crazy.
Yeah, so we kill the lava spawn and we make our way through a Death Peak, and we get up to the top and we shove our sex doll of Chrono up to the cliff where we need to be at the peak, and we hold up the Chrono Trigger and we're just like, "Hey, time, what you got?" And nothing happens, and we're like, well, shit, I guess Chrono's actually dead. But then, of course, time was just being dramatic and whisks us away to the exact moment when Chrono was about to die. And it's a really, like, cute scene of, like, everything's frozen and your party just, like Scooby-Doo tiptoes off the bottom of the screen, grabs Chrono, puts the doll in its place, drags Chrono off the bottom of the screen, and then the time resumes, and there you are at the top of Death Peak, and you have Chrono back.
Just fucking yeet him out of there.
But this time, he's not a required character, so you can continue to have Girl Party if you want. Girl Party is great.
Which is real neat. It's like, oh, we've proven we can get by just fine without him. Now he's just another character in the party. I don't know if I'm going to use him or not. He is really good.
Yeah. He's the only light magic that you have, and Luminaire's real good.
Well, let's see. So you got 2 waters, 1 fire,
2 shadows.
2 shadows.
The only one you have only one of is
everything.
light. Yeah.
Wait, we only have 1 fire as well.
Oh well, but Ayla doesn't have it. I was thinking she was fire for some reason. She doesn't have have it. Like,
so we only have 1 fire and 1 lightning, not counting, of course, Magus. No, but also he fucking rules. So it has a zillion dual techs.
Yeah, so he's great. Love our boy Chrono. But yeah, so we got Chrono back, and so we saved. And if you go back to the end of time at this point, old man Gaspard is like, cool, heard a bunch of rumors, and he gives you 7 rumors for the 7 people in your party. And these are the loyalty missions to get the good ending of Mass Effect 2. So
yep. It's tight. There's these big in-game side quests that you can do if you want to, or you can go in the Black Omen, which is the final dungeon, or you can not go in the Black Omen and just go kill Lavos normal style.
Yeah, you can kill Lavos by flying to 1999, going through the bucket, going through the Black Omen. There's isn't there a way to crash the Blackbird into it, or is that only in New Game Plus?
No, that's if you fly there.
Okay, you've crashed the Epic into it. Okay.
Yeah, if you go to 1999 via the Epic, you crash into him. And if you go to the bucket, you do not crash into him. It saves you a boss phase. And then if you do the Black Omen route, that also leads to the same thing as crashing into him. IIRC. Black Omen is a lot more work, but it's also like totally like the real ending, because it's the final dungeon.
Yeah, I think the best, like, there all of the endings we get from here on out are basically the same. We save the day. You get extra scenes for doing the loyalty missions, and then there's slight flavor differences on if you crash into it in 1999 or you go through the Black Omen, and I believe the Black Omen gets you the little bit better of the endings.
The only major difference major difference is whether or not the I guess this is a very minor spoiler, if you crash it into him, then the Epic is destroyed. So whether or not you have the Epic at the end, I feel like in the grand scheme of things doesn't matter, but that's kind of a significant change in the ending.
But yeah, so next week we will do all of the side quests. None of them are super big because you have the Epic and you can just fly to every point of the thing. So there's never like a whole dungeon worth of stuff. It's like just specific times. But all of them are great. All of them are the best parts of the game. So definitely recommend doing it. Gaspard will point you in the direction you should go. But let's listen to some music. Not sure which one. There's a lot of good things that happen here towards the end, and I'll pick one of those. But we'll listen to those and then talk about our memorable moments. Mom. So, Eli, I know you were not sad, but like you could smell it coming that we were going to save Chrono last week.
Yeah.
Was this as good as you wanted, or?
It was interesting. I wasn't sure how we were going to get Chrono back, and I honestly thought it was going to be way later in the game.
Yeah, it's really fast.
I mean, obviously, I knew it wasn't based on what Maddie said about like what we were doing this week. But before that, I had expected like it's going to be like end game where we get Chrono back, and it's going to be this big epic thing. Not that it wasn't epic, but it was more subdued than I expected. I didn't. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say it definitely feels like in one of the optional side quests. Like this is really Chrono's loyalty mission. Is if you save him or not.
Yeah, which is interesting, but also weirdly low key.
I wasn't sure how we were going to get him back, but I knew there was going to be some weird timey-wimey shenanigans. You know, like maybe we would go back to when Chrono was a baby and we'd be his bodyguards and, you know, prevent him from facing Lavos, or, you know, like maybe we'd go back to the second before Lavos actually attacked and we'd snag Chrono and just kind of fucking, you know, fuck off. Without regard for, you know, what sort of paradoxes we might create in other timelines. Because who fucking cares? How, like,
we already doomed the world at this point. So.
Magus himself is a fucking paradox. He's living in the year 12,000 BC with his baby self. Like,
who he has talked to on multiple occasions.
Yeah. So, like, what the fuck do these people care about paradoxes? It's not like it's going to rip the time-space continuum asunder. Clearly it hasn't yet, so everything's probably fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Did not expect that we were just going to get a sex robot of Chrono and just shove him in place of real Chrono, and Lavos can't tell the difference. So whatever, we did it. I just thought it was going to be later in the game.
So, speaking of this particular scene, and the item being called the Chrono Trigger, a fun fact is this whole scene involving the Chrono Trigger, as in the game is named after it, came up like 6 months before the game was released, because Akira Toriyama drew a picture of Chrono fighting Magus with Marl. He drew the Death Peak scene like 6 months before the game came out, and that scene wasn't in the game. He just drew it because he thought the snow looked cool. So they've made a snowy dungeon, named the whole game after it. It probably was just called Chrono Trigger because he was like important. And his name was Chrono, and it was thematic or something. He probably just thought it sounded cool, but they named the item after it, and it tied everything together. And it was just because Akira Toriyama just thought the snow looked cool.
Nice. That rules. I love that. Actually, I want to mention something that sort of bounces off of what Eli said. First of all, Eli, you just made me think of something hilarious I hadn't thought of. You mentioned Lavos can't tell the difference. Imagine this from Lavos' point of view. He fucking utterly demolishes the bejesus out of Chrono, who sacrifices himself to save his friends. And then what happens? And then 14,000 years later, that same spiky-haired asshole shows up and kills him again. He's like, wait, didn't I disintegrate you? I feel like I disintegrated you. What the fuck?
This isn't fair.
It's not fair. Why do I have to kill him twice? That is not... Yeah, y'all cheated.
Yeah.
Anyone listening to this should go and look up a website called the Game Design Forum by Patrick something. I forget his last name. Patrick, really cool guy. He writes really, really good long-form articles analyzing games very statistically, very data-oriented. It's really interesting. For reverse engineering their design, and he does a lot of JRPGs. His Chrono Trigger one is excellent because not only does he analyze things like the approximate length of a given quest, how many dungeons, how many battles per dungeon, analyzing like the game's pacing. He also talks about the game as two halves, and he makes a really interesting philosophical point that I want to bring up here because it's relevant. He says, up until this point in the game, nothing you do has mattered. The game has been all about futility. You try to change the timeline, but you don't. You try to stop Magus from summoning Lavos, he still does. You try to stop Azela, she still does it. Even like the intro scene with the Queen is you're just restoring the timeline. So time is fixed. You can kind of have fun with it, but really it's destiny, right? But in the back half of the game, you realize that you actually can change time. So not just saving Chrono, but not every single, but a lot of the side quests we're about to do are actually having agency, and the player actually has agency. So the characters have agency, aka their quests actually do change what happens in history. You'll see one or two of the quests actually have very interesting effects on the world. And also the player has agency because you are not required to do the quests. So you're not bound to the destiny of the video game. You get to choose to do the quests or to not do the quests, which is one of the big structural gimmicks of the game. It's really cool. That's my MM for the week.
Yeah, I really like it. I don't think I had any this week besides my save early and often, folks.
Yeah.
Don't be like me and have to do everything twice. But yeah, this week was light on the. I love the scene at the North Cape. Like playing it this time, I was like, oh, it's a lot less like anime drama than I remember, but it still was like delicious anime drama. It wasn't the like cape billowing in the wind, like lightning striking super drama that I remembered, but he was wearing a cape. It is still pretty drama. And it's really
also,
good.
Magus's run animation is literally just floating.
Yeah, it's good. Why is everyone's run animation good except Chrono's? And Chrono's is so bad.
Is that why he died?
Yes, it was Lavos punishing him for that run animation.
That's why Lavos didn't. That's why Thandos hates him so much.
Yes, but yeah. So pretty light week. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think Dalton's great. I think he's a fantastic bumbling idiot who thinks he's badass and really isn't. And I mean, he is kind of badass because of how he just demis you down, and then like all he has to do is belch on you, and suddenly you just fall over dead. But at the same time, like he's completely incompetent and like borderline useless. But he thinks he's hot shit, and so it's really satisfying to kick his ass.
I agree.
Speaking
I love
of
kicking his
Xenogears,
ass every time I play the game.
Speaking of Xenogears parallels, he's Ramses, but he takes it a lot better than Ramses does. Like he fills the same bumbling idiot mook to the actual bad guy's role, but Ramses doesn't take it very well. Dalton just is like, whatever. I got sucked into a different dimension with my golem friends.
Yeah.
They're
Ramses is just Dalton, except like with depression.
Yes. Depressed Dalton.
And Dalton, I'm sure in his dimension he got sucked into with the golems is like, yeah, I'm still hot shit.
He probably just tries to take over that dimension.
Yeah. I rule you all now.
Now that he knows that the secret is just heights, so he just builds his castle really tall and they can't stop him.
Yeah.
He's like, don't try it, I have the high ground.
Yeah. But yeah, that'll do it for the week. Next week will be kind of beefy episode to talk about. It doesn't take very long to do, but all of the quests are good and we'll have lots of interesting discussions. So strap in for a long one next week. And then make sure you come back a couple weeks after that and play Danganronpa with us. It is great. Everyone will enjoy it. Eli will love it a lot. I already know, because it feels Eli adjacent.
Yeah, and I'm excited to revisit it. Wait, Sam, you haven't played it, right?
I have beaten the first one.
You hollered about it a lot to me just like less than a year ago.
Yeah, and I tried really hard to get everyone to vote for it while I was gone so that we could play Phoenix Wright together, so I wouldn't have to replay it about a month after I beat it for the first time. But I don't care, because it's that good and I want to replay it. And there's things about it that make you, when you beat it, want to go back and replay it, except for the game's too long. And so I'm excited that I get to replay it and look for those sorts of things.
Meanwhile, I haven't played it since the year 2014. So
nice. Yeah, it's being a detective game. This isn't a spoiler, because this is how all good detective games are. But Sherlock will reveal how he figured it out at the very end, and you're like, I should have been fucking paying attention. And so now I know, so I can pay attention. You weird hat looking motherfucker, Sherlock. I'm on to you.
I will say, I love when you're reading a book, it's like the smart character who you're reading about reveals how he figured it out. Makes sense. But when it's a game, it's funny because that guy's like you. So he's like, I, the player character, figured it out because I'm so smart. And I'm like, I didn't figure it out. I'm not so smart.
I didn't figure out shit.
I'm stupid. I don't know what you're talking about, buddy.
But yeah, I'm real excited to do that one. Eli, you'll be happy to know that this is another visual novel that you play, because you were mad that we didn't get to play Higurashi.
Oh, yeah.
But this one will be a lot of fun. I'm excited to play it with you guys. But if you like what we do here, please check us out on the web at www.rpgbook.club. It has links to all of our socials and has links to our Ko-Fi, where you can vote on our next game. We really need to decide what we have the year like roughly planned out. We just need to decide what games we want to put up for a vote, like within the next like 4 or 5 weeks. So if you want to vote on those sorts of things, you can go to our Ko-Fi. Its direct URL is ko-fi.com/rpgbookclub. And yeah, come in and hang out with us. AREPEAJII.
Damn. Okay. Cool. Thanks.
Yeah, it's a little tricky.
Right up.
But yeah, for RPG Book Club, I have been Sam Allman.
I've been Elias Sailor Eli Warren.
I'm Maddie Grace at Spiffle Warren.
Is at Spiffle your fourth name now?
Sure.
Have a week, everybody.
Bye, I guess it's your lucky day. Bye-bye.
Made some pretty good food this week. I made some fried rice, which is not exactly the hardest thing to make, but I made it a little bit different. I just changed up the ingredients a little bit. Like I included some shredded broccoli stem this time, which I didn't do last time. Ooh. But also, this is the idea. I got this idea off the internet. I always use recipe whenever I try something new, just because I like to have an idea of what like ratio is probably going to be good for taste, and then if I don't like it, I just fucking do it myself next time. Anyway, but this recipe had the idea of adding kimchi, which I wouldn't have thought of. I love kimchi, but I definitely would not have. I've actually never cooked kimchi before. I've only ever put kimchi on something like cold, right? So this is actually weirdly enough the first time I've ever put kimchi in a recipe before cooking it. So I wouldn't have thought to do that, and it was really, 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 really tasty. So yeah, it's just fried rice with, again, mostly just typical shit. Some veggies, eggs, blah blah blah. But the kimchi makes it really good, and I only used half the bottle of kimchi, so I'm gonna make the whole fucking thing again next week with some modifications. But yeah.
I like kimchi pretty well. I prefer cucumber kimchi.
I don't think I've had cucumber kimchi.
Oh,
hell yeah.
It's It's kimchi, but with cucumber instead of cabbage.
I don't think they have it at my local grocery store because I would have fucking seen it. Like, it would have been right next to the kimchi, probably, right?
I would assume so. I don't know. I haven't found it in a grocery store. I've had it at Korean restaurants, and it's just so delicious.
That makes sense. No, that sounds great, yeah. Kimchi whips.
This is a food podcast now.
Cool. My food contributions. Eli, you might want to cover your ears, or just don't eat the words I'm about to tell you.
Am I going to increase my carb intake just by listening?
Yeah. So today we made s'mores, but instead of Hershey's chocolate, we put Reese's cups.
Ooh,
that's a great idea.
Yeah, it is.
I'll trot that one out next time I'm hanging out with people who want to make s'mores.
S'mores?
That rules. Also, I need to eat lots of carbs because I'm taking this E and it's doing its best, but I also need to eat carbs, if you know what I mean.
We also, speaking of carbs, had ham and cheese sliders that Summer made that were freaking fantastic. They are so good. I don't know what Summer does to the tops of them, but they're all glistening and garlicky and delicious. And she made sure that I brought them up since I was talking about all the carbs we ate.
That sounds good as fuck.
But all this is getting cut out, so it's fine. This isn't the real podcast.
This has been Food Times.
RPG Book Club. The G stands for gastronomy.